Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you
sponsor.
Call your
sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
That reflection is one that is becoming so important to me, because I still think it's out there, and all that it is it's a reflection of me. I recently read this thing, I think I shared it with you, where one of the chapters was called "Every Relationship I Have is with Myself."
Oh, no. Gimme. That is perfect.
I pulled over, I was on a bike, I pulled over and I literally needed to reread it 3 times. Every relationship I have is with myself. I'm the common denominator. Like we hear in the rooms, if there's something, what is the common denominator, in whatever the dynamic is, I used to hear different name, same type, in my men's meeting was like different name, same girl. It's the same template. It's the same pattern. The common denominator is me. And ultimately every relationship I have is with myself is this thing of like, I'm bringing myself and my filters, my beliefs, my narratives to every relationship. And ultimately there's a pattern within that.
Oh my God, we're about to go deep. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm seated.
We are going deep. Okay, I love this. There are some people that believe that when you say every relationship is with ourselves, that like we're the only one having this experience. We are calling these drivers in front of us. It really, really, really is. Every single relationship is with ourselves, and like we're all one. We are all one. And that's why I think the collective consciousness is so important. To me, the collective consciousness is God. And when I'm sober and like tuned in and vibrating with a higher frequency, I can feel the entire collective consciousness. I am part of the one, and I am driving with respect to everyone because I do feel we are all one. It's that separation. It's what we've been talking about. It's the separation. And it's when my ego, that dog, is running around pissing on all the other bushes and barking and, foaming at the mouth, that separates me from that collective consciousness. And that's why I feel so alone.
And would you say that that's all in the brain, right? It has nothing to necessarily do with reality. It's with my thinking and through the lens and filter of my story and narrative.
That's what people say. I mean, I'm not saying it and I'm not there, but it's one of those theories. And as we're talking about it, that theory is like, oh, I see how they got to that theory.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to think of a specific example, and there's none that's coming into the station right now.
Okay, tell me what a specific example of what, and then I can provide one.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of one, and there's none that's coming through. So that's the issue. So
a specific example of what though? Like of which theory are we finding an example of?
I'm trying to continue with the every relationship I have is with myself. So okay, actually,
gotcha.
So there was a quote that I read recently that said something to the effect of the universe will continue providing the same lesson until I learn it or something. It wasn't as, which I can understand that there are certain patterns that I've engaged in based on what I know that don't work. So like an unavailable person is unavailable, period. What I bring to that picture is that I'm not available.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I thought of an example. okay. And it helped what you just said. Experiencing the same thing, hopefully at a higher level each time, right? So I notoriously have not been that great of an employee because I like to do what feels good and what's fun and me first, right? So I've gone in jobs like, okay, give me the paycheck, but when can I get back to my life and my fun? And when I was married and had a little baby at home, I was just like, ugh. I mean, work just seems so important compared to this like little bundle of joy and love that always made me feel good. I literally was like, yeah, sure, I was there till 5 p.m. See you later out at 3, right? And would justify it. And then, you know, at one point I was dating and it was like the dating was way more important to work. Anyways, all that to say, the current job I'm in, there's no relationship. The kid is, you know, flown, you know, out of the house. And I love my job. I love it so much. And I spend 10 hours and only charge them for 8. Okay. And I dot every I and cross every T. And I am a gold medal of an employee for the first time in my life. Like I have so much integrity at work because my side of the street is clean. And what's happening is there's still issues. I thought when we got here and I learned the lesson, like we all just celebrate Misty. There's a ticker tape parade. That doesn't happen.
But the issues are different, right? Or same flavor?
Same flavor. I personally finally have integrity with the issues. I'm not feeling guilty. Like I also did something wrong for the first time. My side of the street is clean for the first time in my life. And that does feel good, but it doesn't mean there's not still issues.
Yeah. I think that's like the reality of it is, you know, I would like to be rendered white as snow, and I want a pill more than a process, you know, and unfortunately that's not
You gotta put that.
That's not this journey, right?
I want a pill more than a process. Please make that a gram. Like that is amazing.
Yeah. Pill over process. Please. Pronto. All the P's. Quick fix. Now. Yeah, this is yeah, so pause when agitated is a practice unto itself that is I'm going to bring into my week and really ask the divine to intervene when I am in that space.
Well, and that's just what I'm going to remember. Please assist. Wait, what was it? Please ask what?
Please assist until space exists. Please assist until space enters.
That is so good. Please assist until space enters and I can get to my thank you, which is where I surrender. You know, like, let me just not react to that person. And everything I read about, they're like emotional maturity is, I mean, think about it in those movies where someone is really heated and yelling and upset. And we all love that one character that can sit back in the chair and uncross their legs and put a smile on their face and they can just respond. Like, that's who I want to be. I don't want to be the screaming, yelling one.
You know, probably not spiritual, but I'm just going to say it. Did you ever watch the Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
spiritual.
okay. Okay, so do you remember Cersei Lannister?
Yes.
So I say Cersei Lannister is the pause. This woman, to me, embodies the long game. And even when they were shaming her in the streets, she knew that she was going to get hers. That's why I don't think it's that spiritual. Because she took that same nun and you know what she did? She abused her and she made her suffer. Do you know what I mean? But minus the other retaliation part.
Yeah, this is a long way around the block. You're gonna have to give me there.
minus the retaliation part, she was able to pause. She just put one foot in front of the other, but in the back of her mind, she knew they were going to get theirs. And
Oh,
so go.
mhm. No,
So-
just when you said Cersei, I was like, yeah, I'm a see you next Tuesday. I'm a Cersei when I'm in the moment. And I thought that's where we were going, but that she took her beating and knew everybody was going to get theirs.
Yeah, that she was going to administer exactly what they did to her, just twice as bad. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So is that what
with
happens to you?
Well, I guess my thing is she's the embodiment of the pause. And if I can embody that pause without this retaliatory space, that I think would embody spirituality.
Yeah, I think if we just get a new mentor, it'll make it that much easier. Like we don't have to cut out the nun. We can just I think my that is amazing. Basically what you're saying is, yeah, I can be calm in the moment because I know I'm gonna get revenge on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't even be calm in the moment with the revenge. I want my revenge now. It is not a dish best served cold. It is served warm. And then usually that's not a smart move. Like Cersei's smarter than me, but we need, we're an example. I mean, what keeps coming in my head is George Clooney. I don't know why. I guess he embodies this classic male, calm, charming in the moment when somebody else is losing it kind of energy, sexy. I'm one with everything. I have all the answers kind of energy in that moment.
Yeah. Well, it's like that stoic energy, right? Where they're not bothered. The emotions are not claiming their attention. And
yeah,
it's
my dog isn't pulling me down the street.
Yes.
I have some control.
Yes.
I have some choice. We heal,
Yes. Yes. It's measured. It's not this fly off the seat, the dog thing. Yes. It's measured. It's present. It's acknowledging it, but not following it ultimately.
Yeah. Whereas my nervous system is like, if we don't blow up right now, you're going to die.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been reading a lot about raising children. I'm obsessed with Dr. Becky. I think she'll probably be our third or probably fourth guest, we think.
I love Dr. Becky. I love her so much.
She's so good, right? But what I learned was the tantrum, the child, when I was a child, banging on the floor, doing whatever, doing the most, is actually an overwhelm of emotions. And I don't know how to actually handle them. And it comes out in the tantrum of screaming and doing whatever because the emotions are so great. And, this thing about pausing when agitated or doubtful, right, is what the thing says is that it's that contrary action of oh, don't slap somebody in the face. Just sit on my hands and breathe, which is the last thing I want to do is actually breathe. So I'm going to practice the thank you this week.
Right. And I realized as you were saying all that, like the recoil is if from a hot flame. In that moment, I'm the hot flame, and I want everybody to recoil so that I have a moment to think. Because I don't know how to respond, like to what you're saying. Like I am overwhelmed by emotion and I don't know how to respond. And so my reaction is the hot flame and like everybody just get away from me, and I'll make you want to get away from me so that I have a moment to think.
It's protection.
It's a protection. It's a survival tool. It's a learned protection.
We're at our final 5.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
and
I
I
think
wish
it's me, right?
Yeah. Do you have one?
No, do you?
I can find one. I was going into the depths of my consciousness. Oh, go.
What is your favorite tool from Dr. Becky? Like, what have you learned and how are you applying it?
Okay, so my favorite tool from Dr. Becky, which she also says is the most important thing, is repair. And it's not that the child or I will feel pain or have a feeling, right? Like she gives the example of drop off at school, where there's going to be some feelings around drop off at school, and it's okay to have the feelings. And that repair is actually the most important thing. It's not to avoid feelings and to not feel anything. It's the repair of them that's the most beneficial. And so I like when you say, like, you talk aloud and you pray aloud or whatever, you're having this conversation with yourself aloud, because that's ultimately, for me, has become a tool. So it's like a Misty / Dr. Becky thing where it's like I'm saying stuff to myself to self-soothe ultimately.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I'm just going to go with that repair, because that is something that my inner child never had. And I realize as an adult, I think it's something that's not even possible. So when I'm bad, I'm unlovable, and you might as well just throw me in the trash. And everyone's going to go away if I behave badly. Like, and it's that amygdala reptilian response, and then I'm bad and there's no repair.
With that said, the one thing that she also says is that it's never too late. And I'm going to send you her TED Talk, which I've now watched at least 3 or 4 times. And have had a tear or two. The first one, I was like kind of a puddle. And she gives, what I love about her is it's so practical and it just makes sense and it works, the stories, that people have about children, around behavior is not 100. And the way that she explains it from this, we're all good inside space and filter, is something that I'm not used to at all, and, yeah, the other lesson is it's never too late. And I'm going to send you the link to the TED Talk. We should probably attach it to this episode because it's moving.
Done. We will do that for sure. Oh my God, we did it again. Thank you so much, Sam. I love you.
Thank you so much, Misty. I love you too.
And bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Sponsor.
Call you
Call
sponsor.
your
Call you
sponsor.
sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Call
Part
your
2 on Monday. Send us an email with comments, questions, or concerns. bcysponsor@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate 5 stars.